Think about your proudest achievement. Maybe it's your career, the kids you raised, or that skill you spent years mastering. None of it came easily, did it? You faced rejection, you wanted to quit, but you didn't, and it took years to see results. That journey, with all its discomfort, wasn't just necessary, it was ultimately the reward itself. But what happens when our children can't handle the journey anymore? 6 hours a day, they're fed instant dopamine, numbing them to life's essential struggles. Can we fix this before it's too late? I'm Anish and I used to build products at Facebook, and in this video I'm going to delve deep into the science behind how smartphones and social media are reshaping our children's future. I'll look into how we got here in the first place and what we can do to turn things around. Let's get straight into it. So what exactly is the problem? Well, there are two core issues that are preventing our children from thriving in the future, and they are unrestricted access to devices at a time that's critical for their brain development, and the distorted reality of social media. Let's tackle that device problem first. Think about this, 89% of 12-year-olds now on a smartphone, and they're glued to them for 6 hours a day. This is right at the time that their brains are going through adolescence. Scientists have discovered that during adolescence, the brain's reward pathways, which are the circuits that determine what feels good and what we'll pursue, are being permanently wired. These aren't just temporary connections, they're the blueprints for how your child will experience pleasure and motivation for the rest of their life. Do you remember how we grew up? Our rewards came from real experiences like playing sports, going on long bike rides, making things, or even washing cars. Jonathan Haidt calls this slow dopamine. They're rewards that require effort, patience, and sometimes a little suffering. But our kids, their brains are being wired completely differently. They're experiencing what we call fast dopamine, which is instant, effortless rewards from simply swiping a screen. Feeling bored? Swipe. Sad? Swipe. Feeling lonely? Just swipe again. Their developing brains are learning something dangerous, that discomfort is abnormal and should be avoided at all costs. They are missing the crucial unconscious lesson that we all learned growing up, that sometimes feeling uncomfortable is exactly what leads to growth. Lucky for us, our generation didn't have these personalised, algorithmic entertainment machines in our pockets 24/7. Unknowingly, we had to build what I call discomfort muscles, the ability to sit with boredom, frustration and uncertainty. So what's the result of this missing development? Well, our kids are retreating into digital worlds that feel safe and predictable. Whilst losing this very skills, they'll need to thrive in a world that's anything but. Think about what your children see hundreds of times a day on social media. Highlight reels, filtered photos, and stories that make success look effortless. Can we honestly blame them for thinking that life should be easy? I certainly don't. With every swipe, they're comparing their normal, messy lives with these perfect, filtered moments, and it's crushing them. And the research backs this up. A staggering 70% of teenagers say that social media makes them feel worse about themselves. But here's what makes it so much more toxic than the magazines that we grew up with. These aren't just distant celebrities. These are kids in their class, in the playground, who seem to be living these perfect lives. And unlike those magazines we could put down, theirs comes with endless streams of notifications and updates. There's simply no escape. I find myself wondering, how can our kids learn to value hard work when everything around them suggests that success comes instantly? We're watching in real time as our kids lose the ability to develop life's most essential skills. Patience in a world of waiting, perseverance when things get tough, and resilience to pick yourself up from defeats. When you step back and look at what we're doing, it's quite sobering. We're handing our kids devices that shield them from discomfort, fracture their attention, and simultaneously flood them with the illusion that life is effortless. It's a perfect storm that's leaving them increasingly fragile, right when they need to be building strength. So what's the long-term effects of raising our kids on screens? Well, the science is sobering. Researchers have found fascinating differences in the brain structure between people who practice mindfulness, where you actively train your mind to sit with discomfort, and young people who are immersed in constant digital stimulation. Studies from Richard Davidson's lab at the University of Wisconsin-Madison show that meditation actually strengthens the brain's architecture for handling stress. It physically shrinks the amygdala, which is our fear center, making us more emotionally stable. It also increases grey matter in the prefrontal cortex, boosting our ability to focus and to control impulses. But constant digital distraction, it's completely the opposite story. The research shows heightened activity in the amygdala, leading to increased anxiety and emotional reactivity. Even more concerning, it's actually thinning the prefrontal cortex in teenagers, weakening the brain's control center during its most critical development window. The consequences are exactly what we're seeing in today's young people. Shorter attention spans, poorer impulse control, and difficulty even handling life's minor frustrations. Their brains are being rewired to crave instant gratification right at the moment when they should be developing the capacity for delayed rewards. What happens when our kids face the inevitable challenges of adult life? The job that requires persistence through boring tasks, the relationship that demands working through uncomfortable conversations, and the financial goals that require years of consistent effort. This isn't just about screen time, this is about who our children are becoming. So how do we get here in the first place? Well, it all starts decades before the smartphone with that innocent looking box in the corner of your room, the TV. You see, the TV represented something revolutionary, the world's first mass-produced device that delivered entertainment and pleasure with a simple flick of a switch. No effort required. It was magical, transformative, yet no one was thinking what it would do to our collective resilience. As the visionary Marshall McLuhan warned us, the medium is the message. He understood something profound. It's not just the content we consume that changes us. It's the very way we experience technology that reshapes how we see ourselves and interact with the world. Think what life would have been like before the TV. Evenings would have meant neighbourhood conversations, community gatherings, and social connections that required real engagement. But as TV's glow became increasingly irresistible, we began shifting our precious leisure time from active participation to passive consumption. Robert Putnam documented this transformation beautifully in his book, Bowling Alone. He showed how Americans were trading bowling leagues and community organisations for solitary entertainment. Something fundamental was slipping away. Television didn't just change how we spent our time, it subtly reshaped our expectations of life itself. Glamorous shows painted pictures of perfect lives that bore little resemblance to reality, creating a gap between what we experienced and what we came to expect. Even TV had its natural limitations. You could only watch what was on TV, and once it was over, well, it was over. Moderation, in a way, was built into the technology itself. But smartphones, they've removed every natural boundary. Our children now carry these hyper-personalised distraction devices in their pockets 24/7. And make no mistake, there are trillion-dollar companies that are working around the clock to make these devices more compelling than real life. And we're only beginning to comprehend the consequences. Is it any wonder we're seeing a generation adrift, searching for meaning and purpose, while simultaneously avoiding the discomfort that builds the strength to find it? So where do we go from here? Well, the situation may seem daunting, but there are ways out of this. What we've got to do is focus on strategies that build resilience and perseverance, whilst limiting the forces that erode them. The first thing to do is to delay access to smartphones and to social media. This is the single most powerful step you can take, and I strongly advocate for delaying smartphones until at least the age of 14 and 16 for social media. And the research is clear. Early exposure to these technologies during critical brain development has profound consequences. And you don't have to do this alone. Organisations like Smartphone Free Childhood are building communities of parents making this choice together. Over 130,000 parents in the UK have already signed parent pacts, pledging to delay giving their kids smartphones until the age of 14, creating safety in numbers and reducing the peer pressure both on parents and children. Check out their resources in the description below, and just remember, they're not anti-tech, they're pro-childhood. The second thing to do is to cultivate real-world pursuits that matter. Our children need experiences that can't be swiped away when things become challenging. Whether it's learning an instrument, joining a sports team, or building something with their hands, these activities teach them that meaningful rewards require effort and perseverance. Through them, our children learn that progress isn't linear, that setbacks are normal, and that pushing through discomfort leads to growth. The third thing is to establish healthy boundaries for both them and for us. Let's be honest, most of us parents are struggling with our own relationship to technology. Our children are watching us, learning from our example far more than from our words. Create clear, consistent boundaries. No devices at the dinner table or in the bedrooms, and create times when screens are simply off limit. This isn't punishment, it's reclaiming space for what matters most, human connection. Now, the fourth thing to do is to embrace the superpower of mindfulness. In an age where discomfort is seen as something to avoid at all costs, mindfulness offers a radical alternative. The ability to be present with whatever arises, pleasant or unpleasant. And this isn't some new age concept. This is a practical skill that's been cultivated for thousands of years across many different cultures. Through practices like meditation, deep breathing and yoga, our children can develop the inner resources to face life's inevitable challenges. I've included some excellent starting resources in the description below. And the final thing to do is to have honest conversations with your children. They didn't ask to be born into this hyper-connected world. They deserve to understand how technology impacts their developing brains and why building resilience is so important for their future. Share this video with them, visit some of the resources I've linked to in the description below. Start a conversation with them about the life they want to create and how their decisions today could shape their future. We're facing a technological revolution that no other generation has ever seen. The pace of change remains dizzying and the stakes enormously high. I remain deeply optimistic because I see parents like you who are thoughtful, concerned, and willing to make tough decisions to protect their children's future. We can forge a healthier path forward, one where we embrace technology and protect our children's future. If you found this video useful, just let me know in the comments below, and I hope to see you around soon.